dreams of playing in the league. And I sit here with a Becky Hammon bobblehead at my desk. I wanted to start by thanking you for everything you've done for this league. I do have a couple of questions. So first, just where does it rank on your list of accomplishments to be on the 25 list? And how does it feel to have your jersey retired?
Well, that's a loaded question, Pepper. Obviously, being named one of the top 25 best players and most influential in the WNBA is a huge honor. I wasn't drafted. I'm sure you know my story very well. So somebody to, I was just kind of the kid that wasn't picked. And then when you're picked, you're just like amazed, right? So I got the call from the commissioner telling me that I was a part of the top 25. It was obviously an amazing moment and incredible honor. I look at the names on that list and my only thing, I was just like, I wish I could have played with some of them. I always played against all of them. And I would love to have played with some of them, but that is a very distinguished list. And I am just super honored to be a part of it. Being here in Las Vegas with the Aces retiring my number tomorrow, obviously, again, is another huge honor. I really appreciate the Aces digging back into the program's history and honoring the people that came before. And I think that's how you build culture. That's how you build character within your organization. And I think, Mark Davis and the ownership group trying to really make it a family affair and bring in the previous organizations and the players that impacted not just the Aces, but the Stars and the WNBA and honoring that legacy is really special. So I'm super appreciative and also really excited that they're taking this kind of deep dive into women's basketball and the history of the WNBA and really honoring that. And so I'm super stoked to be here. I've been having a great time so far in Las Vegas.
That's great to hear. Definitely two well-deserved accomplishments for you. One last question. How does it feel to be one of the few women coaching in the NBA and breaking down stereotypes about who can and can't be successful in the sport?
Well, Pepper, I think the biggest thing that, that there's obviously social boxes, right? That all of us kind of live, and there's structure and there's things that we kind of think of in our own mind as being, oh, that's a boy thing or that's a girl thing. And I think the fact that I get to be on the front lines every day of kind of exploding the box, getting rid of the box of what a coach looks like or what a leadership looks like is super exciting. And the good news is that the guys, the players, they don't care. If they feel like you can help them, they're all ears. And so to kind of be on the front lines there, leading the charge, I'm super honored. It's obviously something that I take very seriously, the responsibility and the position that I hold. But I want to make sure people like yourself have not just one opportunity. I want you to have multiple opportunities to be able to walk in and be anybody and be anything that you want to be when you get older. So that's the bigger picture for me, Pepper. Every day, that's the bigger picture.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to talk with you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Pepper.
Michelle?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
We got you.
All right. Becky, I wonder if you could sort of address what it's like just to wear the two hats.
Is this Michelle Vocal?
It is, Becky. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Long time no talk.
Yeah. I wonder if you could address the two hats that you and the other women who've played in the WNBA and are now coaching in the NBA wear, because you are obviously trailblazers in the NBA and you're still carrying the banner of the WNBA and you still have, this love for it and concern for it. Can you talk about how you really do work, if you will, for two leagues, even though your main job is now with the NBA? Yeah,
well, I think one thing is for certain in my mind, I'm not here without the WNBA. I'm just not. So the fact that the WNBA has been around for 25 years have given not just players, but people like me a platform to be able to compete at the highest level, to be able to do what you love. Basketball is my first love, and the WNBA provided me an outlet here in front of family, friends, my own country, to display that passion. And I think, obviously I'm in a little bit different lane right now, being on the men's side, but I never take for granted my WNBA roots, the sacrifices, that old school group of players that I know, I'm talking about, the Teresa Weatherspoons, the Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops, all these, Cynthia Cooper, these players that played overseas for so many years before the WNBA formed. And what appreciation. I remember they had such thankfulness and such gratitude. And it was palpable. Their excitement and energy to be able to play in their home country. And I think I spent many years overseas, and I loved my overseas experiences. And I have so many friends and made so many relationships overseas with some of those people. But there's nothing like playing in your home country, in front of family and friends, and in front of girls and boys that are is going to impact the next generation. And so whether I'm on the men's side or the women's side, I think the biggest battle is always fighting this this thought ideology of what a woman can do or what a woman can be. And so I'm super grateful for my time in the WNBA, and obviously those old school players who I just remember there was such a camaraderie, there was such a thankfulness. And I don't think we can forget that. The people that came before me and that generation that did come before me that kind of laid the groundwork for that generation. Right. So we're all kind of like bricklayers for the next one.
Is there a little bit of bittersweet element to this, though, in that the stars are gone? And that's the bitter part of it. But the sweet part being that owners like Mark Davis have stepped in. And do you see that as a hopeful sign for the future? We're all hoping expansion comes. Do you see owners like him being a good sign for the future of the league?
Absolutely, I do. The fact that he's kind of digging into the history tells me the care and concern that he's putting into it. The fact that, Michelle, and you've been around a long time. There's people that can say the right things, and then there's people that do the right things. And I think the fact that their actions are forward thinking, with kind of this groundwork of the history of everything that's happened before the Aces came to Las Vegas. I'm super excited that their ownership group wants to establish a program, right? Like establish a history and a culture and a winning identity. And the fact that they're willing to put their money where their mouth is a super big statement to me. And when they told me, that they were going to retire my jersey, I was like, absolutely, I'm coming, because it's important as the league grows, as women's basketball grows, that we do remember the people that came before us. And now I'm starting to be one of those old people that, you remembered way back when. So I've been out of the game now, I think almost coming on 8 years. And so, like I said, the fact that they want to honor the history of the program was really special to me, and also made me very optimistic for where women's basketball is going, and the care that the leadership groups are taking to put into women's basketball is super exciting.
Well, you're still young to me. Okay. So
I'll take it.
Congrats on this and being the W25. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chris Matthews from Channel 8 here in Las Vegas.
Hey, Becky, congratulations. Can I just ask you a little bit about the obstacle? Whoop.
You got a lot of bobbleheads up in there.
The obstacles that you faced as you with that journey of getting to the NBA and coaching alongside Popovich and just that whole experience, and how you've caused some of these obstacles to crumble and go away. Are there still a couple of big main ones that you see in not only your path, but others that will follow your lead?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always obstacles. I kind of want to be done with this earth when there's not obstacles to be overcome. Coming out of the WNBA, going into the men's side, obviously there was unforeseen obstacles. There was things that I knew I was kind of signing up for. And there was those things that you kind of learn on the fly, like, oh, I didn't anticipate that happening or whatnot. so it's been a really great learning experience. To me, always the bright spot is the athletes, the guys that have just been so respectful. I just recall my first year being hired, and I'm an assistant behind the bench. I'm like the 15th assistant, and guys coming over like Chris Paul, LeBron James, just multiple guys coming over and saying, "We're so glad you're here," and the kind of impact that has, and their support of the WNBA, which is always an anomaly to me, how the greatest athletes, basketball players in the world can have such appreciation for the women's game, but then Joe Schmo down the street can't have an appreciation. It's like they really understand the artistry of it, how much time the athletes put into honing their craft. And so for me, that's been the best thing, is just the guys and their approach to me, and their respect. They know their history, they're basketball junkies. And so they watch the WNBA and support it. And, it's super exciting to see where the game is going.
Here in Las Vegas, you mentioned the excitement, the support. I don't know if it's this way in other WNBA cities, but for sure here in Las Vegas, a lot of WNBA or a lot of NBA players will come watch the Aces at Mandalay Bay, which is really cool, like you were saying.
Yeah, like I said, they're junkies. These guys are basketball nuts, and the WNBA is what's going on in the summer. And again, that appreciation for the artistry, right? Like they understand how hard it is to go full speed and then throw up a shot super soft and kiss it off the glass. Like they understand what that is, how many hours it takes to master a shot like that. And so their support has been huge. And, just going forward, in all spectrums, in all areas of our society, whenever the other side reaches across the bridge to help the other side, whether it's male, female, gay, straight, black, white, whatever, reaching across the aisle and being supportive and being an ally is a real thing, and it's super meaningful. And so for the guys to kind of reach across the aisle and be like, hey, these guys can ball, or these women can ball, I should say, and be supportive and be there in the stands, I think sends a really strong message to everybody else that this is a quality game, it's a skilled game, and it's a game worth watching and investing in.
Are you pretty much, are you professional? Are you on the professional side, or would you consider a high profile college program and coach a women's team at or a men's team at a college at the college level? Are you NBA?
I'm open,
Mhm.
honestly, because whenever I say I'm not going to do something, I pretty much end up doing that thing. So I kind of try not to say that. So I feel like I have a really great, obviously, being under Coach Pop for going on 8 years now has been an investment into my life that I really can't articulate, and has prepared me in such a way that I don't think I could get very many other places. So being under him, I really feel like I'm prepared to coach players, men, women. It doesn't really matter to me. I'll go where the best opportunity provides itself. Right now, like I said, I'm going into my 8th year with the Spurs, but I'm open. Women, men, wherever the opportunity presents itself, where I feel like I can have the greatest impact. That's kind of where I want to be, because at the end of the day, I want to be impacting lives and be impacting the next generation, whether that's young minds of men or women. I find them equally important moving forward.
All right, we've got time for a couple more questions. Serena Mustafa from Venus Sports. I hope I didn't butcher your name.
It's Krina, but thank you.
Karina, sorry.
Don't worry. Hi, Coach. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us, and congratulations on this honor. We've been talking a lot about the growth of the league, but I was wondering, have you seen a burst of support this year, especially?
It's interesting. When I first came in the league, people were still doing newspaper clippings, right? Like there wasn't the internet. There wasn't this 24-hour access to information. And I think the WNBA with social media and stuff has just grown its platform so much that when I was growing up, like I said, I watched one college basketball game in 1993, and that was Cheryl Swoops winning the national title at Texas Tech. He just didn't have the outlets and the amount of exposure that women's basketball has now. So with that being said, I think it's super exciting, kind of the platform that they've built out. And the fact that if you're in some kind of rural state or area, you can still tune in and watch anytime you like. And again, I said it before, it's such a quality game. It's something that is worth watching and investing your time in, for both little boys and little girls. I think it's equally important to see those role models, and to see people in different roles maybe than what your general norms would tell you. And these women are strong, they're committed, they're skilled, and they're passionate about what they do. And I really feel good about where the league's heading.
Yeah, and as a follow-up, do you have a message for any new fans of the league?
New fans of the league, man, welcome. Get on board, tell everybody about it, bring people to the games. If you're in a city that has a WNBA team, there's nothing like going and putting your butts in the seats and watching a game live. Like I said, it's very exciting. It's a great brand of basketball. It's a true team game. And I think, like I said, these women, their artistry and their craftsmanship within the game, it's really fun to watch, actually, to see all these girls that are doing moves that maybe typically only guys did. Now girls are doing them, and they're doing them at a more rapid pace and at a very exceptional finishing rate. And so that's super exciting to watch. And I just think it's a great place for women's basketball. And like I said, to me, people just give it a chance. Because I think, when I was coming into the league, we had all these reporters and stuff who were just kind of knocking the women's game to knock it, and I remember talking to Sue Bird, and she was giving me a hockey like basically evaluation. Like, I don't like hockey, but I don't feel the need to get on and say, oh, hockey's terrible, and I was like, that's such a great evaluation. Like, people get on so quickly to knock the women's game before they've ever even given it a chance. And so I kind of use that analogy, but it originally came from Sue. And I was like, that's so good, because, people just need to get on and give it a chance. And if you don't like it, don't watch. Fine. Turn on something else. Don't sit there and try to deter other people who are open-minded and open-minded to the skill set that these women have invested so many countless hours of their lives into.
Yeah, I agree with you. Those are all excellent points. Thank you. It's been an honor to speak with you.
Yeah.
All right, last two. Nick Hamilton, one from you.
Hi, Becky. First of all, congratulations making the W25 and getting your jersey retired. That is awesome. It's a pleasure to speak with you. My question to you is, you being in the coaching ranks and obviously trying to, as you said earlier, overcome those barriers and knock down those barriers. Within the W25, there are other coaches, Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie. Do you see a plethora of coaches coming in to the league, whether it's the NBA or WNBA, like anytime in the future, including yourself, obviously?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this is a untapped resource that's just now starting to be realized. I think there's a lot of capable women that could make the jump to the NBA. That being said, the NBA is not for everybody. I wouldn't say every woman can do this job, but there are many women who can. And so the fact that we can start exploring that, and organizations are more open-minded to bringing women on board in a meaningful capacity. And I'm not just talking about filling a quota, like really giving them legs and a job to where they can excel, also giving them the support and the tools that they need to be successful, and so that your organization can be successful, is the meaningful change that we need. And so I see those doors opening more and more. Like I said, I've had multiple head coaches, or front office people, hey, give us some names. People want to tap that untapped resource. And so that's super exciting going forward.
And really quickly, as a follow-up, obviously Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoop, Cynthia Cooper, they created an incredible dynasty when the league first started. How did that inspire you and become the player that you were?
Well, I hated it at first because they beat us so many times in the finals. You're talking about probably the greatest threesome trio the WNBA maybe has ever seen. their legacy, though, when you're talking about Cynthia Cooper, we didn't even see Cynthia Cooper in her prime. Like, she tore up the league towards the latter day of her playing career. Imagine her when she's 26, 27, 28. I mean, this woman is incredible. Cheryl Swoops coming in, 1993, winning a national championship with the Red Raiders. She was the first person that, like, I remember specifically watching as a young girl, being like, wow, I want to be like her. Like, that was my first woman that I was like, she was compared to Michael Jordan. She was like the female Michael Jordan. That was the term that my dad said to me. And sure enough, she was incredible. So that generation, and then there's a generation before them. And I think this next generation, I think it's really cool, kind of the situation that I was in coming in, where I got to kind of see that old school generation coming into the new school, the generation, even that Sue and Diana are now in, where they've been in the league so long, they've played against these great players, but they're also playing against the next generation for the next 15 years that is going to be the greatest players, is a really cool spot to be in. So, yeah, I mean, those three, they were ridiculous. And the one that you didn't even mention was Janeth Arcane, who was also a killer. Boy, they had a squad. Broke my heart many times. Yeah.
Thank you, Becky. I appreciate it. And again, congratulations. It's an honor to speak with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Becky, if you can, just one more here. Wanted to keep it a little more local to close things out. Any memories from playing UNLV back in your college days in the Mountain West?
Man, I was just talking about that coming in. So I played 3 out of my 4 years, the conference championships of the WAC here in Las Vegas. So a lot of great memories. I would just say it was a great gathering spot. I mean, I had family from all over the country come in for those conference championship games. We had a lot of great runs. Our conference championship that we won was actually my freshman year, which was in New Mexico, University of New Mexico. But I have so many great memories on Thomas and Mack Arena. It'd be hard to actually recall them all because, like I said, there was 3 years of them. I played against the UNLV great Linda Froelich, and then I also played with her professionally with the New York Liberty, Linda Froelich. So, and then I come back here every year for summer league. So I'm in Vegas all the time, and I love the city, and I love the energy of the city. And so it would be hard to kind of capture just one area of saying, oh, this memory sticks out the most. I've had a lot of great ones.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Once again, 12 o'clock tip tomorrow, Las Vegas against Dallas. At halftime, we will be unveiling Becky's retired jersey up in the rafters, and then pregame 11 to 12, there's an autograph signing session featuring a number of other WNBA legends, Aces legends from Utah and San Antonio, as well as 4 members of the Las Vegas Raiders. So we hope to see everybody then. Again, Becky, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.